Hey there, dipshits, it's me, Joey, aka Slooty Mage.
I'm Hunter, voice of Hunter Taylor.
And I'm Carter, Deagle Eagle. We're
OlderNDumber.
Every Friday, we drop wisdom, humor, and a whole lot of nonsense. You won't want to miss it.
Become a patron today for as low as $5 a month. Get early access to all our episodes and exclusive behind-the-scenes looks at all the things we're doing and May's super secret editing notes.
Shout out to all our awesome dipshits. Your support really helps keep this madness going.
Join the crew, be a dipshit. It's an exclusive club, and you're invited.
So dipshits, mark your calendar every Friday for a dose of Older and Dumber craziness. See you there.
Fade to black. Now my stand. Fade to black.
This represents Jack and Sally's story better, though. Because she's like an outsider looking in on the King of Halloween.
That makes sense. King of the Pumpkin Patch.
Right. Yeah. And I'm the spirit of Halloween.
Oh, shit! I'm the king and you're the spirit.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. That makes sense. Okay. That makes sense.
And Carter's a cowboy.
Carter is a cowboy.
I thought it wouldn't be Halloween without one.
Very spooky. Spooky.
It was either this or Army Man.
Should have made him
Two classics.
Like a dead cowboy or something.
No, that's not the point of the costume.
That's what the cigarettes are for.
Exactly.
Oh.
Eventually, I'll be an undead cowboy, and I'll never, I'll ride again
You'll ride again.
with my horse, my undead horse,
Oh my god.
because it also smokes Marabou Reds.
What do you think's more important, the king of Halloween or the
Spirit.
of Halloween?
There can be a new king.
No one can see any of my facial expressions, so I'm going to have to express with my hands.
I was between cowboy, army man, or biker.
Oh yeah.
Those are my.
You could have been.
options.
You could have been a Sons of Anarchy.
I could have been a Sons of Anarchy. Yeah.
Which one? Jax. Just be the main guy. Be boring.
No. I'll be left nut.
Left nut. What a character.
Half sack. Sorry.
What a character to be.
Or either that or Opie.
Yeah.
Chords are going to be the enemy of me.
Well, I'm sure.
Just this chord in particular. I can't determine where it is because I can't see below.
I almost had him yesterday. Like I was like, bro, just do the Jack Skellington T-shirt. Like, you're not a Halloween guy. It's like Michaela's all the way on the end of the spectrum with like the signature series deluxe costume. You just like the guy walking into the wedding in the tuxedo shirt. Had him that close.
I had to. It was more. I would have. It wasn't. If it was long sleeve, you would have got me. If it was long sleeve, but it was short sleeve, so it would have been really weird, and I didn't want to do that.
It would have been really weird.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it.
Why would it have been really
Because
weird?
you just would have been like my hairy ass arms.
Do you
This
have?
way, I look a lot more.
Do you not like your arms, Hunter?
I look more like Jack Skellington.
He's got body dysmorphia of the arms.
They're too hairy.
I don't know, I kind of feel like an idiot sometimes. Although I am an idiot, so it kind of works out.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
That's so funny. Last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur. Put that cookie down now!
That is the most real, authentic, hysterical laugh of my entire life because that is not a plan.
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Welcome to another episode of Older and Dumber, the podcast about three dumb friends just trying to make it in this graveyard we call
Earth.
I am Jack, King of the Pumpkin Patch. My mic just flew into the air.
Yeah, you were. May's
Out of
gonna
its
be mad at you.
spiritual.
May's gonna
whim.
ghost face you.
What? You are.
I'm Sam.
That was fucking boring.
Who's Sam from?
Trick or Treat, 2009. I'm casual Sam though. I'm like cozy night in, watch a spooky movie Sam.
I'm a cowboy number 1 from your favorite pick whichever Netflix original cowboy show.
I think he's
bad cowboy
he's,
number 1
he's
because I have the
Val
black
from-
hat.
from Drummers.
I'm a cowboy because cowboys are dope and I love them. And I want to be one when I grow up.
Oh my god.
That's probably what Kid Carter said too when he dressed up like a cowboy.
Yeah, you're bringing this one back. It's like an anniversary, a
Yeah.
legacy
Oh,
costume.
dude, we
Legacy
should have dressed
costume.
up in our kid costume.
I could have gotten a Sully costume. I did do that a few times as a kid.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sully, the pilot that landed the plane on the Hudson.
Yes, exactly. I dressed up like Tom
Airplane
Hanks.
cowboy.
Try to get him a pony for Christmas.
Anyone that's like a cowboy energy, you know, like
One of the
Sully
stick
from.
horses.
Yeah.
And
And I'm the patchwork monster girl, Sally.
A real Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, welcome to the new Halloween special episode of Older and Dumber.
With video.
With video.
Now in Technicolor.
Yes, Technicolor. So actually, well, before we start this, I actually want to. It's funny enough to ask. So we'll start with Joey. What was your main Halloween costume as a kid? Like, what'd you dress up? Was there a costume that you did like a lot or like
All
the
the
most as a
time.
kid?
Army guy for sure.
Yeah, Army guy.
You did Army
Yeah,
guy.
because my stepdad was a Marine, so we had Army surplus shit all over. So I was like, oh, I'm such a badass because I got real Army gear.
Oh my god. Was there like a favorite you did by chance?
Not one that comes to mind. I just remember a lot of generic ass Army guy.
Okay, nice.
I mean, back in the day, they didn't care. So one time I took like the spent H-Law, you know, the disposable rocket launcher with
Yeah.
me.
Gosh. And what about you, babe? Sally.
A lot of Barbie, I think. There were some pirates in there as well. I remember one time I tried to do Sally, but I I just painted myself different colors because I was thinking patchwork and then it didn't work out. So I went with a pirate instead. And then it was all of the Barbies after that.
Okay. Carter.
Army guy, but also like Ranger's Apprentice. I did a few years in a row. So, you know, cow with a bow, you know, but mostly Army guy, face paint and Army gear with a Nerf gun.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
What about you, Hunter?
Me. So for many years, up until about middle school, actually probably up until about 7th grade, I'd say, I was a ninja every year. Every year a ninja up until 7th grade.
You do give off big ninja energy.
And there was always a parade, you know, like the school parade. So I would parade as a ninja, and it would always go past my house, and I'd have like my throwing stars and my swords, and I'd be like, yeah, you know. So I was so I was a ninja for all the way up until 7th grade, and then come about 10th grade, I decided I wanted to go out. Like, we were like, oh, let's go out, guys, blah, blah, blah. And we trick-or-treated a little, but mostly just ran around town. But I made my own costume for 10th grade. Or it might have been 10th grade or whatever year Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out. Because I made my own Edward Kenway costume for that year. I even, like, I made a hidden blade. And I made it out of, you know, the bars in a drawer.
You just had like a kitchen knife.
I put a fake. It was a fake plastic. So a fake plastic dagger at the end, but it was the drawer pieces, and it would go like this, and it came back. It'd go like this, and it'd come back. It was awesome. I have a picture of it somewhere, so maybe we can put it in the video. But yeah, and it was cold, so I made it out of like sweatshirt stuff. So that I would be warm all night, and I basically just cut up a bunch of sweatshirts because it had a hood already, so I didn't have to make a hood. And then I just added the little triangle piece, and yeah, dude, it was awesome.
I remember being Sully from Monsters Incorporated or Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Oh, not the guy who landed the
Yeah, that costume was the worst idea, or it just was so
real warm.
Real warm.
You're basically wearing a rug around.
I think there was probably a picture of me with like when I was like 8 with it like halfway down, just like walking around. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I did Indiana Jones one year and we got a blizzard on Halloween.
Oh.
And we were like 3 houses from our house. I already had like an inch of snow on the hat.
That's awesome. I love that. So usually we start with our weeks and stuff, but I think that was a lot more fun discussing our old pastime Halloween. How about some Halloween memories, things and events that happened?
Memoirs
of Halloween.
Man.
Yeah, start with you, Joy.
So having my birthday on the 22nd, which is pretty close to Halloween. I had a lot of birthday / Halloween parties growing up, and those were always cool. That was a big thing, like for a lot of years, probably from like the whole length of grade school. Every year would be like, oh, invite the whole class over to do a Halloween party / birthday party at my place. So those were cool.
Was this 1942?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Just making sure I got my years right.
And the class that you invited to your house, was it like just
like,
everybody you rode the short bus with?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the autistic kid bus that ends up in the lake.
Yeah. We made a reference. We did it.
They didn't have buses back then, Hunter. They had wagons.
Oh, damn. He went even further back. I was trying to stay with trick or treat.
You could make the bus or homeschooled.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you didn't have... Yeah, that's right. Carter would just walk outside.
I went to public school for 3 years, so I've ridden the bus before.
They told
I wasn't
Carter...
talking about him.
They told Carter he had to run around the house twice to pretend like he's walking to school. We need you to have the experience of walking to school. Anyway.
And then I think my favorite Halloween memory was the year that I really started to get into like effects and stuff. And I set up, instead of going out trick-or-treating, I set up our house for trick-or-treating. And I built like a whole ass graveyard in the front yard and like spider web. We went and got dry ice. So we had like fog effects going on, and that was sick. We set up spotlights and strobes, and we had like a ghost dropping out of the tree. But there was no spirit Halloween or anything at the time, so we went and we built all this shit. You
just built everything on your own. Yeah. A true king of Halloween, I would say. Yeah, very nice. That's cool. Sally?
I think when I went as 11 from Stranger Things, when I was 20, it was my sophomore year of college. And I think some of my friends went as the other kids, but I took a box of Eggo waffles and used the box to make a smokable device of the box. So I made a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
And stored all the things inside the box to take to the party with me. And yeah, it was very popular waffle party.
Everybody was like, "Waffle girl!"
Yeah.
Give me some of that smoke.
Eggos.
Yo, Eggo my Weedo. Eggo my Greenos.
11, can I get some of those Eggos?
Carter, what about you?
Sorry. I've never really been a super Halloween guy. The most I've done for Halloween is go to Halloween Horror Nights every year. And go to Joey and Shy's party. That's basically the most involved in Halloween I've been.
Was that? It was a Halloween
party. It was a combo birthday D&D Halloween party.
I do. It was a 3-in-1.
Because Schnoodles and I share a birthday.
Yes, I do remember that. That would be correct. So for me, in my Halloween memoirs, well, I mean, one Halloween memory was, me and Michaela sort of starting to see each other around that time.
Because on the 22nd, which was my birthday, you fell in a hole and broke your arm.
Correct. Yep. And then I remember we were going to go to, like, this fairy thing, and I dressed up as a fairy, like, catcher, and she was a fairy.
That's really funny that you would be a catcher, but you had...
like
half the arms than you usually would have
Mr.
to catch a fairy.
Mr. Croger from Fairly Odd Parents.
Did you have a work?
We should have done that. That would have
been funny, though.
Did you have like a workman's comp paperwork you carried with you as the fairy catcher?
I just put on like a safari outfit and then like a big like potion bag on with a hat, and I was like, I catch fairies, motherfucker. Supernatural fairy catcher.
Should have done Cosmo and Wanda, or Crocker would have been good too.
Yeah, those would be. We'll have to do that one year. That sounds fun, actually. I would love to be Cosmo. So that was one of my good Halloween
Hunter,
memories.
you would be Wanda.
What?
Michaela would be Cosmo. Come on.
I know that. we We could switch it, like, personality-wise.
That'd be funny. Oh man, what was the other memory I was trying to think of? Man. Oh, I remember one other Halloween memory that I fondly remember, and the reason why I remember is because you make me go to Halloween Horror Nights every year, and it's the reason why I even still remember it to this day. But you know, I it's been said, I don't like scary things. I just don't. And I don't like
Well-known fact.
and I don't and I don't like haunted houses. Also, well-known fact. Now, before we were like best friends, you know, or before I even met, you know, any of you guys, I used to
haunted houses.
I used to volunteer for a haunted house at the fire department. They would put a haunted house on every
You were
year.
a scare actor?
I was a scare
This
actor.
fucking guy.
I didn't know
This
that.
fucking guy.
I was a scare actor for.
You know what's happening in the houses.
Yeah, it was like in high school, and then like 1 year out of high school. But yeah, I volunteered at one of the fire department's haunted house every year. So it was like three or 4 years I did it. And I was always like the first room that everybody came into.
So you were the guy that were like, "Ow, they're biting me."
It was different every year, but the funny part is the funniest one I remember being is they had me dress up as a devil. So I put this whole, you know, like black outfit, red face, horns, all this stuff. And they were like, "All right, Hunter, here's your room. We got a table and some other things." I was okay. Can I just pick up stuff? They're like, "Yeah, put something together." I said, "Okay." So I just put one table in the center of the room, put a tablecloth on it, put a typewriter on the top, and a chair. And as people walked in, I would go, like I'd try to make it go cha-ching as they came through the door. And I would get up and I would hand them a slip and I'd be like, "All right, welcome to hell. Go ahead and get through this fucking door. Nobody cares about you. I hope you enjoyed death. Goodbye." And then they would just walk through. So I never really scared too much, but I always remember it because of you, because you make us do Halloween Horror Nights, and then I think, man, nobody makes a funny haunted house anymore.
I don't know, man. Some of them are pretty funny.
You think they're funny? I don't.
I like the ones that are bad.
What's something in your life that scared you the most? That seems like a good one. Joey, what's the thing in your life that scared you? What happened to you that scared you the most?
Sleep paralysis.
Oh, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, so that's a different level. Like going, you know, I do haunted houses. I watch scary movies. Pretty high tolerance for spooky things. I didn't get into stuff until I was like in my 20s, but
Okay.
I was a little scaredy cat until about my 20s, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, this is fun. I love effects. I love what goes into making this stuff. I like the tropes. But man, sleep paralysis, that's a whole new level.
And that happened to you, right?
Yeah. And when May was telling her story the other day where she had it happen 3 times in one night, I was like, it's like, oh my God, I had it happen once and I thought like there were things crawling out of the walls and I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, I'm going to die here. I'm not able to do anything.
You would have joined me. In the pumpkin patch.
But yeah, that like personally, that's probably the scariest thing that happened to me. As far as like outside stuff that like really gets my hackles up, caving stuff. Like listen to people who are like, "Oh yeah, I wedged myself into this cave where like I had to exhale to crawl 40 feet and couldn't breathe the entire time, and then it started to flood." That shit gets me.
I was considering how deep I wanted to get here.
How existential.
Not even existential, just like, I don't know if it's a story I want to share.
I went to existential first. And I was
Tell
like,
us in the comments if you want him to share the story.
There's gotta be something I'm scared of.
I mean, I guess one of the scariest moments I've had in my life is when I had a giant icicle fall on my head, and the only thing I saw was me on the ground with blood gushing out of my head, and then me like crawling, going unconscious and crawling. Next thing I see is me inside my house with blood everywhere. So that was probably one of the scariest moments of my life. And then I don't really get scared by spooks or like the thing, like that scares me, like in terms of spooky town stuff, is like stuff that fucks with your head. I feel like is what sometimes gets me. Like the haunted houses didn't really do anything for me on terms of spookiness. Like I enjoyed them, but they weren't really spooky to me because they're all like jump scare sort of. I don't know. Yeah.
I have mine now. Okay,
Go
that
back.
made me remember. Because I forgot that when I was a kid, I had my quiet place moment where I had a rusty nail go through my foot, and so it'd probably be like rusty metal or like just like
Afraid of
things
rusty
that are
metal.
things that are not supposed to be there that can stab me.
Oh,
Dude, when I got lost in Scotland for 2 days by myself as a 14-year-old child, that was pretty scary.
oh, I see.
All right, go ahead, Hunter.
Well, this
So
nail,
you
did
put
it go
a
straight through your
nail,
foot, or did it?
yeah, a nail
It went
through your
through,
foot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
like
mean-
you could see it on the other side, or no?
Like I couldn't see it, but you like from the bruising on the top and like when I pulled it out, I could definitely feel that it had like touched the top.
Did you pull it out of your foot?
I pulled
or did
it
you have
out.
to- did you have to pull your foot?
No,
up?
I pulled my foot up. It was on a pair like stairs.
So it was sticking out of something.
Yeah,
you
it was
stepped
sticking
on.
out of
Okay.
some stairs.
Ugh.
Never pull a thing out if you get impaled by something. For listeners,
I mean,
notes.
you're
go to the
right.
hospital or have someone.
How are you supposed to go to the hospital when it's in the floor?
I was 8 and I was going like down the
Up the
stairs like
floor out?
bump
What are you
bump
talking
bump
about?
bump.
Oh, it was in something
in
going
Yeah,
up.
it was
sticking
coming up
out of
out of the
something.
stairs,
Yeah.
and
Step
it
sucks.
didn't.
Correct.
Sucks to suck.
The nail didn't come.
Could cut the
Guess you live there
stair.
now.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick, but I realized very quickly that it had like went through my foot because when I like touched the top, I could feel like where it had hit.
Even
my
as somebody
toes
with
felt
no
weird to
skin, I can
move.
feel that.
Luckily it didn't mess with my toes or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, ugh. I remember when I was a kid, my stepdad, because he used to do construction work, we were at a house he was doing construction on. Don't know if we were actually allowed there, but we were there anyway. And he's nailing stuff, and kukush, kukush. You hear a kukush, a drop of a loud thing, and him go, fuck! Like just yell, and we're like, oh my god, are you okay? We come out there, and he goes, all right, guys, we gotta go. I'm like, where are we going? He's like, hospital. We gotta go to the hospital. I said, why? And he goes, look, and he shows us his hand. And there's a nail going right through it to the other side, and it's like this, and you can see it. And it was like, oh my god! So we drove to the hospital. That was wild. Anyway, my scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've told the one story of a scary thing where I thought I was gonna lose my life, and I prayed to God, 100 times, even though I was like not, whatever, right?
Mhm.
You guys remember that story?
Is it the golf cart?
No, the snowboarding story.
The snowboarding story. Yeah.
The snowboarding
yeah,
story.
where you went down the hill.
Yeah, and
And
I
you
was
couldn't
stuck on
get
a corner and
back
I
up.
couldn't get back.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like I couldn't
I'm
go
there.
anywhere. I couldn't get up on the hill. I just was like, oh my god, help me, and
This is
nobody
it.
would.
I'm dead on this hill.
That's just where I die. That was a scary thing, but that's not my like Halloween scary thing. Because the thing that actually happened near Halloween is when we were kids, in Corning, there's this church over on like, 3rd or maybe a little past Simone Street or something.
Mm-hmm.
But basically you go down. It doesn't matter. But there's a church.
The big
And-
Catholic church that's near the Rockwell Museum.
No, not that far. It's still up. It's in the like 1st through 6th Street, so it's up on the hill still. But anyway, so there's that big church, and there's also like a house connected to it, and then another little house. That entire area is like owned by somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, we knew one of the kids whose parents owned that place, so we were allowed to like go in and hang out and stuff. So this place has got hundreds and hundreds of rooms, like tons of them, but like they're all empty because they don't use them for anything else other than the front portion where it's the church and they like do church stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like tons of rooms that don't get used for anything, but they have stuff in them because it used to be like a school. So there's like kids' toys and wooden blocks and like,
Wait, it was
wooden-
attached to the church?
Yeah, so
So it was a parsonage, is what you're
Mhm.
saying.
thank you, Webster.
Well,
That.
Mhm.
That's where pastors live.
Yes, that's exact. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's got tons of rooms, but they're like schools, but they don't get used anymore. So there's like kids' toys everywhere and like rooms with like whiteboards and stuff written on it and half written on it. So it's pretty creepy as you get deeper and deeper because like all the stuff isn't active and there's like no lights on and stuff. So I remember us all hanging out and we were all like going through the rooms and stuff. And we get to one of the rooms and they're like, "Oh, go in, Hunter." I said, "No, I'm not fucking going in there." They're like, "No, go in." And I was like, "Why? What are we doing here?" They're like, "We're checking out the rooms." I said, "Why do I need to go in first?" They're like, "Just go." I said, "Fine." So I went in the room. They closed the door behind me. And then they held onto the door and they wouldn't let me out.
Like, haha.
Yep.
And then a real monster was in there.
Well, on the other side of the room, I start hearing like on the glass and stuff, and I can see like everybody on the other side of the room. So I'm freaking out. I'm yelling. I'm like, "Get me the fuck out! Why you got me in here?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm screaming. I honestly thought like I might die. But in the end, it was all a prank because then somebody I knew on the other side opened the door, and I was like, "You're a piece of shit. I hate you." And then they let me out. So yeah,
It's always a prank.
yeah. That's why I don't like Halloween stuff because of those a-holes. So you can thank them for me not liking stuff.
Hey, Ruttle, what are those meat sacks wearing?
Clothes, road trip.
No slag, dipstick. I mean, what's on the clothes?
Looks like Capsicon merch.
We have merch?
Yeah, you, me, Quick Cut, and Hexwing.
So, humans can get t-shirts with us on them?
Yeah, that Joey guy from OlderNDumber made it.
Right off the OlderNDumber merch store?
Yeah, bot. It's as easy as that.
We, getting a cut of that? Energon ain't free, you know.
No.
That's a bad deal, and you're a bad leader for making it. Guys, we're all universal kids here. We go to the
Universally,
go to the park.
we are kids.
We do the Halloween Horror Nights. We do the movies.
The movies.
Do the movies. Isn't that their slogan?
We
Universal
do movies.
Land, do the movies.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
I got it on a t-shirt.
So I want to talk about Universal Monsters today for Halloween. I think that they're, big enough in the pop culture zeitgeist that we can have a conversation. Like everybody knows their stories, and
sure.
Even if you haven't seen the movie, you can probably tell me, the story of Dracula as portrayed
with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
No,
it's a good one.
That's the best one.
For people who don't know, can you name
I love
off
that movie.
all or some of the Universal monsters?
I can probably get through most of them. Yeah, so it's Dracula.
I don't feel like you should go first.
I'm just letting
people who
know.
don't know what they are.
Oh, I thought we were gonna try to guess, because I don't know what's included in all the Universal monsters.
That's why I'm setting a baseline for us.
Oh,
so it's Dracula.
Dracula.
A Frankenstein.
A Frankenstein.
Gillman.
Gillman?
It's the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's called the Gillman.
Okay.
Right.
The Mummy.
Yeah.
The Wolfman.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
The Phantom.
The Invisible Man, like Kevin Bacon?
No, that's Hollow Man.
It is Hollow Man. You're
What's the Phantom?
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then the Bride is usually included in like the main.
What's the Bride?
Of Frankenstein.
Oh.
And that's the Dark Universe coming out in 2025, starring Tom Cruise.
That is a thing that happened.
It was attempted.
I know The Mummy. I like that one a lot. It's got Brandon Fraser.
Do you know who
I like Gary Oldman.
Original Mummy?
I didn't know there was an original.
Yeah, the one in the 30s with Boris Karloff as the Mummy.
You say you don't know. You were literally watching me watch it.
Dracula?
No.
That's what I watched you watch earlier. It was two lesbians looking at each other.
They were
not.
And then one of them got
Dracula's
undressed,
daughter.
And then the other one.
Yes, I didn't say they were lesbians.
The subtext
She
says
was
they're
like,
yes,
"You should watch this
that's
with
what
me.
I was
It's
trying
real...
to explain.
She said, "You should watch this with me. It's real gay." And I was like, "What?"
I saw
you watching Dracula or Dracula's daughter.
With Gary Oldman?
But I said the Mummy, so that's a different thing than
I
the
know.
Dracula.
Keanu Reeves?
I didn't know there was an original The Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Brandon Fraser Mummy is a remake of.
That's the original. There's three
No,
of
no,
them.
not the Mummy.
So I'm talking about The Mummy. That's the original. And then there's Mummy.
There's the Mummy from the 30s.
And then there's
And what's Brandon Fraser's?
The Mummy.
Oh, okay. So the original. Tell me about this 1730, whatever it is, mummy.
Well, he's not a mummy very long. He is a resurrected prince that comes back from the dead. He takes on human form, and he tries to seduce a woman named Helen and have her possessed by the dead soul of his long lost love, Moon. It's very romantic in a weird, gross way.
Wow, I see.
There's mad scientists as usual.
Uh-huh.
Trying to do weird shit.
Big trope throughout the
I guess
Always
I must have been a
rituals.
fan of Universal Monsters.
Are there
seeing as
creatures of the night?
The villain's always a scientist.
No, it makes a lot of
Pretty much.
sense. The villain isn't usually a scientist. It's just that we interpret the monsters
Or an
in the modern
archaeologist.
age
As scientists.
as the sympathetic characters in the story.
I see.
It's usually the scientists who are like, I've tried to do this thing. Oh no, I screwed up. Now I have to fix it. Things are back to normal now.
I see.
So I was going to suggest to start, let's go through everybody, and why don't you tell me your favorite of the Universal monsters and why?
Well, mine is the Mummy because I like Brendan Fraser. I don't know much of the originals, like at all.
You don't know of them. I couldn't be like, hey man, tell me the story of the Wolfman, and you couldn't do it.
The Wolfman? No. I have to assume it's a werewolf man. And he kills people?
He's a werewolf man and he kills people. That does happen.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Do you know how the curse is passed?
He bites someone?
Someone who is bitten by a werewolf is doomed to become a werewolf on the next full moon.
Yeah, okay. I know that.
Yep. And you know how to kill a werewolf.
Silver bullets.
Silver bullets.
Okay.
Or a stake through the heart.
No, that's vampire.
Sometimes it's both.
You know it's Hunter's full moon right now?
It's Hunter's full moon?
Yeah. Today's Hunter's full moon.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
That's cool.
There's always a full moon too.
Why is it
There's
called
a mad
Hunter's?
scientist and a full moon.
Why is it called Hunter's full moon?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Because that's when the werewolves come out?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's when the werewolf hunters
Or
come
the
out.
vampires.
Hugh
Or the
Jackman,
mummies.
as a resurrected angel,
Yeah.
becomes a werewolf to defeat a Dracula.
Huh?
Oh, you don't know that one? You weren't ready to spout off all of your Helsing knowledge for me?
Oh, is that Van Helsing? Van Helsing, I thought Hugh Jackman was Van Helsing.
He is.
Yeah, he's not is Van Helsing an angel?
He's a resurrected
Oh.
angel who becomes a werewolf because only a werewolf can kill a Dracula.
I didn't know that. I just watched the
If you're a
movie.
pussy.
So the Mummy, but only Brandon Fraser's Mummy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of the I don't know like I'm not watching movies from the 30s regularly on the reg, you know.
No one wanted to use their 6 months of Peacock.
No. So if I have to pick one, the one that I think I know the most is the Mummy.
But I'm
Yeah.
asking you specifically about the monster that you like the most.
I think
So it's the Mummy.
I think I'd have to say the Mummy then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Mummy is.
Dude, you get to live in a pyramid?
Yeah, live in a
It
pyramid.
doesn't live. The pyramid's your tomb.
You get to live
Yeah,
there.
you get to live there. It's like a genie in a lamp. You get to
my
live
God.
there.
Carter.
Dracula. Gary Oldman. Come on. Keanu Reeves. Come on.
Uh-huh.
Who was Van Helsing in that movie? It was also someone famous, wasn't it?
Donald Pleasance. I actually don't think that's right.
And wasn't the girl was it Kira or no
What's the Dracula with
Knightley?
Orlando
Was it
Bloom?
Knightley in that movie?
Interview with a Dracula?
Interview with a Vampire?
Vampire? Interview with a Dracula.
Interview with the Dracula. So Dracula, you like?
Oh, Winona
vampires.
Ryder. Yeah, Winona Ryder was Mina Harker in that movie. Anthony Hopkins was Van Helsing. That's right. Dude, what a fucking goated movie.
So not Bela Lugosi's Dracula though. Gary Oldman.
Dude, it was the first Dracula movie I watched, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love all the cast. It's great. It has the guy from Princess Bride in it.
The guy from Princess
Andre
Bride.
the Giant?
No,
Come on, man. You know that's not who he's talking about.
Dread Pirate Robertson.
Come on.
Carrie Ewells.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like Dracula, I think, the most out of all the monsters as well, just because I feel like he's definitely inspired the most lore.
Yeah.
Like Alucard and
We
like
just did we just
Castlevania.
did a whole vampire D&D campaign.
We did.
Yeah.
That's all because of Dracula. You have him
No.
to thank.
You have the Vampire Diaries and the original stuff.
Of course, Hunter.
Fucking Vampire
Fucking
Diaries.
CW bullshit.
Dude, the CW was where it's at, man. CW was awesome. I think May will agree with me on the CW.
I think also just vampires are just classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool.
I think Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's monster's
Like,
pretty good.
There's a lot of, like, beyond just the Frankenstein movies, there's further adaptions of that kind of story. I think a lot of people relate to it.
You in particular?
Yeah. Besides the obvious.
But yeah, it's the doctor playing God to create life and then turning away from that life.
Yeah.
There was a Frankenstein show with Sean Bean in it, I'm pretty sure. That was trash.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Sounds like a sci-fi original. FX.
I think a lot of people look at Frankenstein's monster like, damn, I didn't ask to be here either.
Yeah.
And people are just getting pissed about it.
Joey, what's your favorite? And can I guess beforehand?
Sure.
Is it Wolfman?
I do like the Wolfman a lot. He's
Black
a
Lagoon.
very tragic character. Just because he's a legitimately good guy. And this plays through most of the werewolf movies where it's like, I'm just a guy trying to get by. I do something, I get bit by a werewolf, and now I'm cursed, and then I die at the end because I have nothing that I could control.
Way to spoil it.
You could have not went and did what got you bit.
Oh, save a lady?
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens in the original Wolfman launch.
Well, if
and
he
he's
was
like,
just more like today's people and didn't put his life on the line
He
for
just
anyone,
walked away.
just walked away, he wouldn't have died.
But I also like a Frankenstein as well. Like the idea of, I was just talking about it when we were talking about Megan the other day. It's the same story structure where it's somebody creates something that they don't understand, and then that thing wants or autonomy, and then they destroy that thing.
Would you say Jurassic Park is a Frankenstein story?
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like Frankenstein has more depth than than just dinosaurs escaping.
It's the same sort of concept, though, of man playing God and then having their experiment turn
Blamed
on them.
for it, yeah. I was gonna say also the experiment usually by the public is placed at fault for whatever disaster
Right.
occurs, even though the evil mad scientist once again is the one who created them in an environment that probably wasn't suitable for that creature, or didn't give them the resources to
that's-
exist in the world.
Yeah, it's Malcolm's whole story in the first Jurassic Park movie, basically, where he's like, you're playing God and you don't know what you're doing or what's going to happen.
Nice. So, now that we fully sort of went over these universal
Isn't human
monsters-
history just us playing God over and over again, though? And, like, not knowing, but, like, most of the time it, well, not most of the time, but, like, it turns out right enough of the time where we progress human society.
Do you think God
Like, we shouldn't be,
stays in
like,
heaven?
we shouldn't,
You
because he's
do.
afraid.
Lives in fear of, what was it?
We're
What
not
he's created.
We're not supposed to be living in these buildings.
Why not?
We played God. I'm upset the natural.
It's Spy Kids, a Frankenstein movie.
Yes, of course. Spy Kids 2, actually.
That's
Isn't there
true.
like a thumb?
That's
Yeah,
Spy
there's the
Kids 1.
thumbs. Yeah, there's the thumbs. There's the tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah, if
That's Spy
not,
Kids
if that's
2.
not a Frankenstein, I don't know what it is.
Spy Kids 3 though, they go in a video game.
They do. Spy Kids 3D is what it's called.
It's true. It's baller as fuck. Sylvester Stallone's in that movie.
Is AI
Yes.
the final Frankenstein?
So, Joey, with these Universal monsters,
Uh-huh.
what do you have for us? In
You know, I had some notes, and I don't know where they are, so I'm gonna have to play this off the cuff and hope that I get most of it right. But I want to talk about subtext in Universal monster movies, and it makes me super excited that Michaela knows what I'm talking about.
subtext.
Uh-huh. So, what if I told you that the Wolfman, let's start with the Wolfman because we were just talking about it, is actually an allegory for what was happening to the Jews in Nazi Germany.
Do you want a real answer for me? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. I would have no idea because I haven't seen it,
Oh my God,
and I don't
you're
really know the story.
He's such a baby boy.
Well, I don't really. I mean, I need you to tell. I know.
Okay,
that the
to be fair,
Wolfman
yeah,
is,
you had to get on a call.
Yeah. So the Wolfman is. He's a Wolfman. He gets bit, turns into a wolf, and.
From that perspective, the wolf part of the man is reflective of the rise of the Nazi Party, right? Because once he transforms, he has to become a beast that's controlled by forces outside of his own control and attack others that he doesn't want to hurt. So that's like people giving in to the rhetoric of the time to go out and hurt the Jews.
I thought where that was going was because he has this hidden part of himself. It's like reflective of how the Jews had to hide during the war, even though there was nothing wrong with them.
It can be read as
that too.
that. He sees a pentagram on each victim, which is reflective of the Star of David.
Nice.
Which was also made to be worn by the victims of the Nazis.
I have not seen the movie, but how you are describing it feels like a reach. That it
It's
would
not
mean
a
all of
reach
that.
for the. Do you know when the movie came out?
It's the 30s.
No,
Wolfman's post
40s.
Yeah, post
I
World
don't
War
know.
II.
You told me
Yeah.
the 30s, so I'm guessing the 30s.
N-
So it came out in the 40s. It's a horror movie about a
Didn't
guy.
you say The Mummy came out in the 30s?
Wolfman was 41, so it's right at the
Yeah.
rise of like
Okay,
Nazi Germany.
So the movie it's a horror movie.
Mhm.
Guy saves a lady, gets bit by a werewolf,
Mhm.
turns into a werewolf, kills people.
Sure.
And then the people he kills, a pentagram goes on him.
He can see the pentagram when he's hunting them as the wolf.
Okay.
What if I told you that director George Wagner was a German Jew that fled Germany?
Okay.
Does that change your perspective at all?
I don't know. I have not seen the movie. I'm
I'm
telling
just
you.
saying based on your argument.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess if the director went through that and he decided to make that the story, then sure, yeah. I'm saying if you were just saying this and like there wasn't any behinding backings of something like that, it feels like a reach. But if you're saying that that's what he made the story, then I guess it makes more sense. But I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, it's subtext, so it's stuff you read into the story.
Stuff that you decide is there.
Sure.
Not stuff that you
Too
decide
bad
is there,
you don't
but
know anyone with any kind of degree or anything in media literacy.
Also,
I mean, it's good to build it.
it's also a story about an outsider being hunted for reasons outside of his control, which is reflective of the people being hunted in those times in those countries.
They kind of use that theme with a lot of the monsters. There's often an angry mob, regardless of the main plot. There's a lot of usually people overreacting, and then the main villain often becomes the angry mob. Sometimes the monster's not even shown for much of the movie, and there's just a lot of people arguing over the monster
Mm-hmm.
the majority of the time.
A lot of
then
time, the
it cuts
monster's
to
hunted
the
just
monster-
because it's a monster.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the monster running and hiding. And what I like about Frankenstein's monsters, they kind of do that same thing. And when I was rewatching Bride of Frankenstein, they occurred to me how they kind of have some character who is supposed to be the example of the better moral decisions. What I'm trying to say, better character, the one who offers the monster shelter, doesn't judge them, or there's like this monk,
the blind
the monk that takes in the monster and gives him stuff, and you know, they light it up and it turns into a smoking ad, which was I forgot I forgot about that. That was, it's like smoking good.
Because he can talk in the second movie.
Yes. Yeah. But anyways, off track. Yeah, I think that's my comment about it. At the time, that was a common theme, and they kind of demonstrated that through using the monsters as an example of... It was kind of the first time of introducing the concept of don't judge people for being different, like, in any media.
It was big with Bride, too. I'm glad that you brought Bride of Frankenstein up, because James Whale, who's the director of that, was one of the only, like, open gay men in Hollywood at the time that the film was made. And there's a lot of, like, gay subtext throughout that film. There's two male doctors who create life unnaturally. The rejection of gender norms by the bride as she's put into a position with the monster. Society seeing the monster as unnatural, and its life and its existence as an unnatural thing, and then having to destroy it, and then the status quo being reset. Status quo being reset at the end of the movie is basically Frankenstein going back to his normal, like, platonic marriage with his wife.
Right. And that's like this. They had to tell those kinds of stories through subtext at the time, because you couldn't tell those things overtly. So
Those doctors were just roommates.
they
don't bring your woke politics into this.
They're just very good friends.
They're just very good friends, and sometimes they snuggle.
And sometimes you make a unnatural life.
Dracula's daughter was just biting her neck while painting her.
Not gay.
I was showing Hunter my favorite part was when she's like, "You go and get ready behind the curtain over there," and then it just cuts to her staring behind the curtain. So that's but like, it's subtext, but it's the way it's filmed and the way it's written is almost very overt for the time, which is where I was kind of explaining to Hunter how it was like the campier of the horror at the time. That's how, like, you know, queer directors and writers could express those kinds of things in those just like little facial expressions and like those really subtle jokes.
Yep. Well, we got through a couple. I feel pretty good, even though I lost my notes. If you'd like a deeper breakdown of this kind of stuff, just let us know in the comments, and I'll figure something out. Maybe a bonus content for it. But
maybe a stream.
Get out of here before May says a name 3 times in the mirror and comes through the laptop screen or something. Some spooky thing.
Did you know?
May juice.
That every Wednesday at around 8 o'clock, we play Dungeons and Dragons. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I heard it's neat.
Every Friday, you all cowpokes can come down and listen to the podcast. We also have Gaslight Theater. It's going to be here.
Man.
It's out.
Sometime.
It's out right now.
Yeah, you're watching it.
And, you know, if you want to mosey on down there, give it a watch. Be greatly appreciated. We also have OlderNDumber Light. Hunter's been cooking with those, so there's probably some more out at this point.
Bite-sized bits of quality content.
Joey, where can you find all that stuff?
You can find us everywhere on the internet at OlderNDumber. Join us on most social media platforms and especially our Discord. That's the best place to hang out and chat with us. We're always on there, doing some more gaming stuff on there. You can interact with our D&D group on there, share your fan art, that kind of stuff. If you want to support the podcast, we appreciate it very much. You can do so via Patreon as low as $5 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee from your favorite coffee shop. And it helps us make the podcast better, gets us to shows around you. And like I said, we do really appreciate it. And if you want to support us, but you don't want to do Patreon, you can do so via Twitch. And that's the best way to catch up on our current D&D campaign.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Older and Dumber, the podcast about three dumb friends just trying to make it in this pumpkin patch we call
Earth.
Thank you all, and what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? It's friends everywhere.
Subtext.
This podcast ain't big enough for the twos of us.
Goodbye, and a happy Halloween to you all.
Bye.